How to sell your pain to teenagers. This video caught my attention because, you know, for a long time on my channel, I have been making content that was, you know, geared towards inspiring the youth. You know, I was a teenager at one point. I've been through some shit. I've dealt with heartbreak. I've had to overcome hardship. And my overall goal was to just help people become the best version of themselves. We see a lot of that on the internet. Sometimes it's very hard to tell whether the intention is genuine or if motherfuckers are just trying to make money.
Now, me personally,
I don't necessarily think there's something wrong with wanting to make money. You know what I mean? If you were to go to a therapist, their job is to help you feel better, help you go through your, talk about your thoughts and your hardships, and they make money off of you. So I feel like there's a bad rep just on the internet in general, where as soon as money comes into the picture, everyone's so quick to just point the finger and call it a scam. But I do feel like there is something to be talked about, whether the intention is genuine or if it's just like a cash grab situation. So I saw this video, it caught my attention, and I genuinely wanted to tap in and see what it was about. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you come tap into the Twitch streams. That is Where You At, Berto. Link in the description, and let's get right into it. Come on.
where you at, Berto?
I remember I had the phone on me like this, and I put it up to the screen, and I went like I literally got my heart fucking broken, and now fucking hundreds of girls have been ruined because of that. Thanks, Sophie. This whole section's about cheating, and fuck me, man. I'll tell you. I won't say too many. Actually, I'll put more of the detailed stories inside of the program. So if you wanna fucking join,
the program, there it is, the selling. But I don't necessarily have a problem with this. But I'm gonna let the video play a little bit more before I give too much of my feedback, or give y'all more of my feedback.
No, you're gonna get cheated on. So I'd join it if I was you, bro. How much is your relationship worth? And now I want to walk you through how to be more of the bad boy, because Chance just made some money from a sale from the course, by the way, so you might want to join.
So what the Princess Treatment formula is it is literally the formula that tells you exactly how to think, how to act, and how to feel like you are the literal it girl. Like you are a celebrity that every single person is obsessed with, and puts you in your divine magnetic feminine energy.
Look, if you want to be the literal it girl in 2025, I've literally cracked the code to making every single guy want to marry you.
I know.
Shit, this is kind of crazy because as a guy, you know, I see the guy side of things, but they got girls out here selling female courses on how to crack niggas too? Shit, okay. I didn't know that.
You guys need my help. That's why I'm here. You have to create another version of yourself. Are you not tired of being overlooked?
Why would being 6'4" make you a top tier man? Why would only over 100K make you a top tier man? That doesn't even make you a mid-range. Like, I will in this video show you how to stop being ugly.
I am here to teach you how to actually become mysterious.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so...
We just reacted to that. But bro, I'm just gonna say off the rip, I just dropped a video on my main channel, kind of just talking about how I when making this change on this channel, which again, it's because of this shit, bruh. I didn't feel right making the same video over and over and over and over again, saying the same thing, giving the same advice, and genuinely feel like I was still helping, bruh. And it's like, I get why people do this. I don't necessarily think there's something evil about it, but me, as a content creator, it's always about being authentic, bro. And I just couldn't authentically keep doing the same thing. It's like, yes, I want to, be a part of the self-improvement where it's like I'm telling y'all how to be the best versions of yourselves, but at the same time, it gets to a point where it's like, bro, I done said everything. It's all there on my channel. It was starting to get to the point where I would say something and then I'm looking at the other titles of the videos on my channel and it's like, bro, I already made this video, bro. Now I'm just gonna like change like one word just to make it fucking seem like it's something else, but it's like, bro, I don't know, bro. But I get it. I'm not knocking nobody's hustle though. I'm not knocking nobody's hustle. Again, I think the intention is the most important thing. If this is your life mission to make sure that you're like 100% self-improvement, if that's your life mission, I'm not going to sit here and say that they're evil people for doing that. But for me, my life's mission is to be myself and be the best version of myself. And I love my supporters, so I push that onto y'all. But I'm not going to sit here and be inauthentic to my audience. That I can't do.
Bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point. Like, why do you think you're fucking lonely? You're fucking lonely because we don't want to be with you. Because look at how pathetic you are. You are lonely because you're a motherfucking loser. Like, it's fucking embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed for you, and it's like most fucking men too. Like, it's literally most fucking men. Most men are fucking losers.
Now, she was a hateful ass woman, I'm not gonna lie. We watched that video. She's hateful.
Guys, you no longer can be a man, an able-bodied man, and have under 6 figures. You're making under 6 figures. Women won't even take you seriously, bro.
That's fucked up. I saw when FitX said that, and I really didn't fuck with that, because you can live a very, very, very happy and fulfilled life under 6 figures. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you shouldn't strive to try and be a 6-figure nigga. I mean, despite what anybody says, more money's just a tool. So money doesn't buy happiness, but it is a tool that can allow you to make things easier in life.
This is how you sit like a fucking man. This is the worst text message you can ever send a woman. That is a good morning text. A good morning text is the weakest you can send as a man.
We're here because of them, period.
So at the end of the day, men are just lazy, and the dating scene is too easy for them now.
Are you doing this work to facilitate growth or to become famous? Which is more important, getting or letting go?
I think a lot of these guys say good advice sometimes. But that's the thing. I tell you guys all the time, there's nothing wrong with agreeing with some of the things that somebody's saying. Like, you might not agree with everything that I say, but you can agree with some of the things I say. So while a lot of these guys, they might tell good advice in some areas, there might be other areas where it's kind of like, what the fuck? You know? So we don't gotta necessarily... We don't gotta necessarily just fucking outright hate someone just because they said one thing you don't like.
Oh fuck, I stubbed my toe. Everybody gets hurt in relationships. You either heal and let go, or you become a dating expert. This isn't good. We've got jaded adults turning their pain, resentment, and borderline self-obsession
Why is it that everyone is always obsessed with me?
into marketable content and advice for teenagers. And all too often, their worldview is steeped in the kind of bitterness that resonates with love-stung teens. It resonates because it offers a seductive idea. It's not your fault, it's the fault of whatever gender you're attracted to.
It's like most fucking men too.
But I'm telling you, most girls are like this.
This type of rhetoric is as old as time. It usually comes as young adults vent to each other about their painful love lives behind closed doors. But now, it's being broadcast to children. You used to have to get hurt before you became jaded. Now all you need is a TikTok algorithm, a Wi-Fi connection, and you can start absorbing somebody else's bitterness.
That is true. Now that is true. I think a lot of people are adopting problems from the internet that they don't even have. So you get on the phone, open up TikTok, somebody's yapping and complaining about something that you've never even experienced before in your own life. Now all of a sudden you feel like you need to adopt that into your world when it never even applied to you in the first place. So that is something that is dangerous that comes with this new level of influence on the internet, bruh.
Before the school bus even arrives. It's often said that love is a gamble. So what happens when an entire generation enters the casino already believing that the game is rigged against them? Well, you don't have to look at the data for long to figure it out. They just stop playing. So, why is this happening? Who is responsible? And can we actually do anything about it?
All of this is so manipulative. This is what I mean. Women are the manipulators and the gaslighters, honestly.
Self-help is a part of what I call the heartbreak industrial complex, a collection of businesses and influencers who would go bankrupt if people stopped getting their hearts broken. And since heartbreak is their primary driver of demand, business is booming. We got hair-dye companies, self-help gurus, fitness influencers, armchair psychologists, fake narcissism experts, political scapegoating commentators, celebrity white label cosmetics companies, and all sorts of men's groups and women's groups alike. All the businesses in this industry owe at least some portion of their profit to the men and women who broke the hearts of their customers.
A week later, she hit me with the classic line, "I think we need a break." Holy shit, Hamza is so damn right in his course. He's mentioning my dating course, which is inside of this program. It hits so hard, like he's talking directly to your soul.
But in this video, I want to talk about the latest and perhaps most direct sector of this industry. Attraction influencers. The thing about attraction influencers is they're almost always under 30, so they're still immature. And they spend a concerning amount of time thinking about what is attractive to the opposite sex. To see how dangerous this combo is, we only have to ask one question. Why? It's because they got hurt. And instead of grieving, processing, and moving through it, they turned it into a project. They didn't see their heartbreak as...
I'll say this, I don't necessarily think... I'm trying to think. I don't necessarily think it's always because you got hurt. Because from my POV, when I made videos like this, it wasn't necessarily because I felt like I got hurt. It was more from a place of I was telling stories about my life that I thought were entertaining and I thought people would resonate with. And then the audience showed me that they wanted more content like that, and then I kind of just went down that hole of like, okay, this is what you guys want, you guys appreciate my feedback, so I'm going to give you guys my feedback. Again, this is me. That's what was authentic to me. That's what made me feel like I was doing the right thing, but is again why I also feel like I'm not trying to make that type of content anymore, or at least not like spam it, because it was just like, okay, bro, there's no authenticity in this anymore. It's just like I'm just making the same video over and over again. Like, I don't care if the views drop. Like, I'm a creator first. I don't want to just be spamming content to an audience that fucking is, you know, desperate for, and you know, I don't want to like be disrespectful, but just how like I care about y'all. So it's like, I don't want to be the guy that's like taking advantage of y'all vulnerabilities and what your, you know, y'all insecurities. It's like I put that information out there, and the day that I have something new to bring to the table, that's the day that I'll make that video. But for me to just keep titling every video 7 ways to fucking know you're gonna be more attractive, or 7 signs that you shouldn't date this girl. It's like, I don't want to give y'all that video 3 fucking times, and when you watch the video, it's like, this nigga just said the same thing in a different way. And that's what I think a lot of those influencers do. I'm not knocking them for it. At least not yet, from what I'm seeing. But it's just, I couldn't do that, bruh. It gets old really fast.
An experience to feel, they saw it as a problem to solve. But you can't solve heartbreak. You can't optimize your way out of being human and getting
What
hurt.
up, Mayo?
But that doesn't stop them from trying. Their brains get to work constructing a worldview not to understand love, but to protect them from it. A worldview that either, one, helps them make sense of why they were hurt.
If you died, they would not give a shit. In fact, they would prefer that you die over them feeling slightly embarrassed. If a woman doesn't respect you, if she's not sucking your dick, like if she doesn't see you as that sort of like godly kind of figure of the guy she's in love with, obsessed with, she would literally rather you die than her just getting a bit of slight embarrassment.
Or
damn. Hamza's going dumb.
Two, convinces them that they will never get hurt like that again.
I'll put more of the detailed stories inside of the program, so if you wanna fucking join. If not, you're gonna get cheated on. So I'd join it if I was you, bro. How much is your relationship?
Hamza can prevent cheating. I mean, that's kind of what he's alluding to, but I don't know, bro.
Now all that's left is to package it, to turn that pain into a framework, turn that framework into content, and turn that content into cash. So, how does this actually work? What's the mechanism behind this? And how do you actually sell your pain and heartbreak to teenagers? The first step is to misinterpret somebody else's behavior as evidence of a fundamental flaw within yourself. Maybe you get cheated on when you're a teenager and internalize the belief that you're not enough. Maybe you experience unrequited love and figure that must mean you're unlovable. Maybe your ex kills your dog.
What up, Eugene?
Whatever it is, make sure you reach the conclusion that if you were different in some way, it wouldn't have happened.
Right now we're watching a video on how to sell your pain to teenagers, pretty much talking about a bunch of social media influencers that are within the niche of just kind of self-improvement, but it's not as genuine as it seems.
Step 2 is to turn your pain into a worldview that helps you deal with the weight of those beliefs. This will usually be a worldview that, 1, diminishes the value of the opposite sex, at least as far as this generation is concerned. 2, scapegoats a group, system, or past event for your loneliness.
Men, as we know, are delusional. They're egotistical, selfish, misogynistic, and delusional.
3, provides you with a way to avoid.
See, that is something that I have never said in a video, where it's like you're just outright saying the other sex is X, Y, and Z. It's like, yo, you can't put people in a box like that. Like, that's just fucked up. Her statement, men, it's like, whoa, all of us, delusional, whatever, that's fucked. That ain't right.
Avoid getting hurt like that again by behaving or being different in some way. And 4, absolves you of any true moral accountability for the failure of your past relationships or lack thereof. Now, this is all fairly common. Everything I've said so far is standard procedure and happens at many bottomless brunches and bench presses. I mean, diminishing the value of the opposite sex is an example of sour grapes that has occurred for millennia. Sidebar, if you don't know the sour grapes story, basically a wolf is trying to get down some grapes from a branch, but it's just out of reach. He tries and tries for a few days, but eventually he gives up, and as he's walking away, he mutters to himself, they were probably sour anyway. If you want to understand more about the mechanics of how and why these defensive worldviews are constructed, Jonathan Haidt's The Righteous Mind is a great place to start, particularly the social intuitionist model in the first couple chapters. Anyway, once you have constructed a defensive worldview, you've got to make it profitable, and that is where step 3 comes into play. Start talking about this defensive worldview online, particularly the parts of the worldview that diminish the other gender, provide you with a false sense of control or certainty, and absolve you of moral accountability for the disappointments of your love life. Then all you have to do is post it and let the algorithm work its magic. It will direct this content to primarily vulnerable young teenagers who are trying to make sense of their own painful introductions to the world of love and lust. And if you're really lucky, it will present your content to the victims of tragedies similar to your own.
What up,
For instance,
welcome
somebody's
to the stream.
girlfriend cheats on him with a bad boy character. So he uploads videos talking about how to get jacked and be a bad boy.
And now I want to walk you through how to be more of...
I'm noticing how a lot of the clips in this video are from Hamza. I'm noticing that. But I don't know, man. I I can't bring myself to talk shit about somebody that I just don't know without damning evidence.
The bad boy, because Chance just made some money from a sale from the course, by the way, so you might want to join.
To me, that's like, he's making money, you know what I'm saying? Berto, have you ever been on the school exposed page? I don't necessarily know what you're referring to, but I do remember back in like fucking middle school or some shit, somebody made some type of page that was posting some like bad rumors about all the kids at the school, and I was on there a couple of times, but I mean, that's some childish ass shit. I don't give a fuck about that. I didn't give a fuck about that when it was happening in school. And if you're dealing with that, you shouldn't give a fuck about it either.
Which the algorithm then kindly funnels to teenage boys who recently got cheated on or dumped for somebody else. In short, if your defensive worldview is constructed as a plaster to a particular pain in your past, then it will surely be an attractive worldview to those experiencing a similar pain in the present. So there you have it. That's the distribution model of your business. That's how you're going to get advertisement out there. It's a completely organic process. But to be maximally effective, you'll want to take grains of truth and pervert them to apply in cases far beyond their scope by coming up with catchphrases that reframe vices as virtues. For example, you're not lonely, you're working on yourself. You're not afraid of love, you're prioritizing your peace. You're not bitter, you're finally seeing people for who they are. You're not treating relationships like brand deals, you just have high standards. And you're not spiteful, you're just done being nice. And once you're done taking the moral insufficiencies of your audience and giving them righteous names, you want to start manufacturing certainty. Teenagers don't want nuance, they want certainty. So give them frameworks, rules, facts. Say things like, men only want youth and beauty. Women only value money and status. Never chase, always attract. If they wanted to, they would. Reduce love to a power game. This will ensure that your audience never wins at it. And then you're clear to move on to step 4. Monetize.
See, this is getting... I just don't know if people are this devious, if that makes sense. It's like, I feel like people do this, but not with the intention of it being this evil. It's kind of like when people try to like paint Mr. Beast as an evil person. Look, I'm not defending Mr. Beast. I don't know Mr. Beast. I don't care enough to fucking be the Mr. Beast defense party. But I be feeling like sometimes, a lot of times, it ain't that deep. The nigga likes to make YouTube videos and he wants them to be as viral as possible. And sometimes he does things that are immorally correct to make that happen. But it's not like he's trying to be an evil person. But then we see videos, exposés of them connecting the dots and like making things so much deeper and painting a different picture than what it was actually ever intended to be. Some people might not like me saying that, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, I also feel like not everyone's that fucking smart. Like, not everybody's thinking that shit through to the T, to the way this guy's breaking it down. Especially when we're talking about people in the self-improvement niche, because again, I don't want to say I came from that, but a lot of the biggest videos on my channel are self-improvement type of videos. And I know for a fact it's like, I'm not in a fucking laboratory writing down, you know, how I'm going to manipulate. It's like, I'm just writing scripts that feel authentic to me and talking about things that I feel that my audience is going to resonate with and hopefully can help them. And I'll make money from it. Because I'm a YouTuber. That's what I do. I post videos, they get views, and I make money off views. Just like every other YouTuber that you watch or content creator. They make money off of you supporting them with their views, donations, whatever the fuck. I don't think that's evil. I don't think that's evil, bro. What I do think is evil is when people start to like, when you start getting into that red pill, blue pill shit overly, because like, I'll just outright say it, like, I don't fuck with those fresh and fit guys. I feel like they're disrespectful. I feel like they, you know, they take advantage of their audience, and they fucking, you know, they make people hateful. That's something that I think that a lot of people, that's the type of self-improvement that I don't like. Any type of self-improvement that promotes hate, that's not self-improvement. You know what I'm saying? That's just being a bitch, honestly. That's what that is.
Is the fuck out of it. Courses, coaching calls, affiliate links, dropshipped skincare, merch, paid communities. You get the point. Congratulations, you've turned your unresolved pain into a scalable business. And your teenage audience, they've turned their first heartbreak into a personality. And the scariest part?
Yeah, that's bad too. You definitely don't want to be turning like, bro, we're human beings. Like, we are makeups of lots of different things. It's okay to like multiple things, and things just aren't that black and white. People aren't that black and white. That's why we don't like people that fucking have like gym personalities. It's like, bro, I love to go to the gym. I go to the gym every single day, but the gym isn't my personality. You get me? Like, I don't, if you come up to me and ask me a random question like, how was your day today? I'm not going to start talking about how I fucking had an amazing day because I fucking hit a PR in the gym. Like, you know, it's like, the gym is not my personality. That's just something that I like to do. And I think there's people out here that's like, oh, gym, you know, you're a man, be a man, lift heavy stuff all day. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ.
None of this is some master plan. It just sounds like that in hindsight. Most of these influencers aren't malicious. They just...
Okay, so he's given the perspective that I'm talking about. Let me stop yapping and let him cook.
Unhealed. Half the time, they truly believe they're just spreading the truth. And since they're completely unaware of how they are also guilty of many of the same crimes of which they convict their chosen scapegoat, be that men, women, feminism, or the manosphere, they really think they are helping their audience. But sometimes they meet their audience.
What did you say? Fuck the woman, fuck the woman.
What?
No, wait. We love women. We love women.
But not like transgenders.
Yes, sir. We love everybody. No.
All gays should die.
Yeah, preach.
Damn, I know Sneeko actually felt hurt in this scenario. Like, this is what I'm influencing y'all to do? Damn. I know that hurt his heart. On God, if the gym is your personality, then you've got nothing better in your life, for real. Nah, for real. And I'm not going to say you have nothing better in your life, but you need to reevaluate the things in your life. Like, bro, it's good to go to the gym. It's good to live a healthy lifestyle, but you also need to appreciate everything else that's going on in your life. I mean, when that fucking pre-workout wears out and you got to go home and, you know, I don't know, pay your bills or go on that date with that girl, like, there's more to life than, you know, lifting weights, my nigga. It's not just the gym. But I know Sneeko's, yeah, his heart skipped a beat when he said that.
What have I done?
Anyway, we're going to take a look at the data of how this is all affecting modern relationships in a minute, but I want to spend a little bit more on this point just to hammer it home, because I do think this is the most important point of this video. They say that the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
That's a good ass quote.
Many of the worst crimes of history were done with a clear conscience. So how is it that good intentions so often lead to disastrous actions? For the same reason that you likely want to demonize the influencers from the beginning of this video, because it's easy to find fault in others, even where there is none. It's easy to find fault in yourself where there is none too, but it is indescribably hard to find fault in yourself where there is genuine fault. Humans aren't designed to see our own moral failures. We are wired to justify them.
proudly insecure, but not a fucking cuck. That's what like my fucking Instagram bio should be. Because everyone else will fucking try and convince you that, oh yeah, guys like me and you are insecure for this kind of values. Everyone will try and convince you. Bro, I'm the one guy who'll look at you in the face and just say, bro, at least we're not cucks.
To build stories that
I'm not mad at that.
Preserve our social standing, even if it costs us the truth. To explain away our actions in order to save our lives from the other members of the tribe that may have us hung for our misdeeds. And most of the time, the stories that we build to survive our own guilt become the very thing that harms others.
You do not have to accept her rejection.
I mean, even when we genuinely feel like we are taking accountability for something, we're often just scapegoating a decoy fault within ourselves to avoid acknowledging the actual issue.
I'm insecure. At least I'm not a fucking cuck like the rest of the fucking guys out here.
Hey, I don't know Hamza. I've watched a few videos, but him saying that right there kind of just tells me everything I need to know. Here's a guy who likes to make money, who practices what he preaches for the most part, and he's on the internet doing the best that he can. He's gonna fuck up sometimes. He's probably gonna say things that he probably shouldn't have said. He might catch it, he might not, but he's just doing his best and he's making money off of it, and I'm sure he's helped and improved a lot of people's lives. And me personally, that's the type of guy that I strive to be, bro. That's the type of guy that I strive to be. I'm not saying I feel like me and Hamza are two completely different people. I think we have two completely different moral grounds in some categories, but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm just here just doing my best, bro. I'm just here doing my best. I'm just here doing what I think is right. I'm just trying to be authentic to myself while inspiring the people that have honestly given me the opportunity of a lifetime to influence them. And I do feel a responsibility to try my best to do right by y'all. And that's it. But I'm human too, nigga. And I say that all the time. My shit stink just like yours, nigga. I put my pants on in the morning just like you, nigga. I put my socks on before my shoes just like you, nigga. So don't pedestalize me. Don't pedestalize no one. Don't pedestalize none of these influencers that you're watching. I don't care how much they've resonated with you and, have inspired you to do great things. Amazing. But remember, they are human and they fuck up just like you. So sometimes you gotta take shit with a grain of salt, bro. I've said this so many times in videos. Sometimes you gotta apply what actually makes sense for your life, but forget the stuff that don't. If a nigga gets on here, start talking about a situation that you've never been in, maybe you can learn from their mistakes, but don't start adopting, I guess, their hate that you don't have in your body, nigga. You're not even going through that. And I feel like it's so easy to just let people influence the way we think. And again, there's nothing wrong with good influences, but you gotta find that fine line. Things are just not that black and white.
I'm insecure, at least I'm not a fucking cuck.
Like taking accountability by blaming your romantic failures on being too nice without really ever acknowledging your resentful attitude towards the opposite sex.
I would argue basically all girls have the tendency to be hoes. And I would say probably anywhere from like 80 to 90% use it.
Ha ha ha. So that's why we do it. It's punching up, not punching down. Me making fun of men. That doesn't impact them in any way. They're still men. They're still at the top.
Or blaming that resentful attitude rather than clearly acknowledging your inability to set clear boundaries. I mean, this is something that Jesus, the Buddha, Nietzsche, and Jung all agreed on. When we fail to identify how we ourselves are responsible for the various missteps within our lives, we are forced to find something or someone else to blame in our stead. And once we do find a suitable vessel for that blame, we're justified in committing the worst acts against it without a drop of remorse.
You gotta train men the same way that you would train children, and you need to focus on positive reinforcement.
Shit.
reinforcement. When he does something good, it depends on what it is that he did, okay? If he bought you flowers, oh my gosh, thank you so much, that's so sweet.
Appreciate
so
the
lovely.
follow.
Don't make a big deal out of it, this is normal. He buys you a car, oh my god, you take such good, I love you.
This girl's evil. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But perhaps more importantly, by refusing ownership of our own faults, we never have to change them. We can just sit back.
First of all, shout out to this guy, man. This is a really good video. Angelo, I'm subscribing and I'm liking. Great video. Shout out to this dude. Make sure y'all show him some love when you're watching this, because this is a good ass video.
And allow them to fester and develop into
What up, Carrie?
outright evil. This C.S. Lewis quote sums it up quite perfectly. The greatest evil is done by those who think they are doing good. So, if we want to stop building hell with good intentions, we need to start recognizing ourselves in the villains that we're so quick to condemn, including many of the influences from the beginning of this video. So, anyway, what's the effect of all this? Let's take a look at the data. Alright, I'm not going to harp on the data for too long because everybody's heard the same spiel about the loneliness epidemic 100 times already. But there's a couple graphs that I thought summarize it quite well. From 2011 to 2021, the number of people aged 18 to 30 who had 0 sexual partners in the previous year nearly doubled. And in the 18 to 29 age group, there are twice as many single men as there are women. If you think that math is impossible, it's just because many of the women in that age cohort are dating guys above the age of 29. Additionally, 61% of Gen Z adults say they felt lonely or isolated during at least some of their teen years. And when baby boomers were asked the same question, that number was nearly half, at 36%. So in the space of a generation, we've become twice as lonely. But this is the stat that I think really hammers the point home. In Britain, surveys show that around 40% of 16 to 24-year-olds feel lonely often or very often, far higher than the 27 to 29% of people over 65.
The reality is, and I say this all the time in my videos, like, bro, you're young, dude. You're young, you're emotional, you're going through shit, you think things that are deep are... You think things that aren't even that deep are the end of the world just to find out that they were never that deep to begin with. Something that I'm just starting to adopt in my life, and I'm 29 years old, and I'm just now starting to kind of like really resonate with it is, bro, it's never even that deep. A lot of times, bro, you're alive, you're breathing. You know what I'm saying? You're blessed. You had food today. If you're watching this video on stream right now, or on YouTube, on your phone, on your TV, like, bro, you're blessed. And just think about all the things in your life that you were complaining about or sad about, and how much time has passed, and then you low-key look back and you're like, damn, I don't even remember what I was upset about. Or I thought that was going to be the end of the world. I thought that girl breaking my heart was going to be, you know, fucking the sky was gonna fall, but I'm here and I'm okay. And that's something that when you start to get older, you really start to appreciate, like, bro, like not everything needs to be like you don't need to be so stressed about everything. And that's something that I'm really fucking with now. It's like, bro, I don't let certain shit stress me because I know I'm gonna be okay. I believe in myself. I believe that I'm going to overcome. I understand that, you know, life is about turmoil. If you were just in 100% happiness all the time, then you would never get sad. And if you never get sad or mad, you would never be able to appreciate being happy. So it's all a balance of everything, bro.
So you know the image you have in your head of the lonely old person sitting in a corner with no friends? That picture's not accurate. 16 to 24-year-olds are more lonely than pensioners now, at least in Britain. Anyway, I won't harp on about the statistics for much longer, everybody's heard them at some point. And I'm not blaming influencers for the loneliness epidemic either. If anything, the loneliness epidemic gave birth to attraction influencers, not the other way around. But now that the Hamzas and the Fresh and Fits and the Wizard Lizzers of the world have arrived, I do believe they're going to have a hugely negative impact on the young teens who are using their content and their worldviews as a lens through which to interpret their early dating experiences, or lack thereof. And since those teens are yet to grow up, we're yet to see the impact that this gender war shit is.
That is one thing that I am scared of, because we are the first generation that is getting older in this like social media era. So everybody's being influenced by the social media, and there's a lot of toxic bullshit out there. You know, not everyone's going to see this video, right? Not everybody's going to accept this perspective. And time is going to pass, and the children of today are going to be the adults of tomorrow. And it's going to be their turn to kind of, you know, set the standard. So that is something I'm scared of, bro. That is something I'm worried about. Teens especially learn from men on the internet, especially when they don't have like a male figure in their lives. Nah, 100%, bro. 100%. And again, I think this is just another thing that I try not to overly stress about. Like, it is scary to think about, but I hold myself accountable to a certain standard, and I do my best. And I feel like the biggest change that I can make in this world is starting with me. If I make promises to show up as the best version of myself, keep self-improving myself, and, you know, I'm an influencer, I'm a content creator, so I keep trying to make content that is authentic and genuine, that spreads love and you know, building on the right core values, then hey, I'll leave the rest up to God, bro. I'll leave the rest up to God. It's only God can judge. It's not my job to fucking figure out world peace. You know, and that might sound a little selfish to some people, but at the end of the day, like I said, I'm doing me, I'm doing my best, and I'm going to continue to spread the most positive message that I can. All right?
It's having on an entire generation. So what impact will it have, and can we even stop it? Can't be asked to go into all of my reasoning, but here is my prediction. Over the next 10 years, relationships in young people will become increasingly uncommon. They will also begin to be viewed with increasing distrust from both sides. They will come to be seen as competitive struggles for power over one another, rather than collaborative cultivation of reciprocity. The younger demographics will become less and less capable of swallowing their pride and seeing things from the perspective of their partners, or from the perspective of the opposite sex in general. Forgiveness and understanding will come to be looked down upon as weakness rather than strength. And I think the fundamental motivation for monogamy, in cases where it does actually happen, will shift from a bid for connection to a desire to show off a partner to peers and social media followers, sort of as a trophy. Partners will come to be seen as a symbol of your own success rather than another human being that you're sharing your life with. And more young people will raise their standards to match those of the rich, famous, and pretty influencers who they grew up watching. As a result, they will stay single. And ironically, the attraction influencers will too, but for different reasons. So, is there anything we can do to actually stop it? Not really. This entire industry emerges completely organically. There's no central planning committee or conspiracy behind it. It's just a natural product of survivorship bias. There is a market for attraction influencers, but to become one, you have to pass a natural selection process that filters out the more healthy individuals who haven't had to spend so much time thinking about how to maximize validation and power from relationships. So if you are a parent, please talk to your kids about love and dating and lust and all of that, because
that's the biggest thing. It really starts with the parents, because something that I know is, regardless of the influences in the world, regardless of what's going on, because of the core values that my parents have instilled in me, I know right and wrong enough to not necessarily say that I know everything, but it's kind of like when something doesn't resonate right with my moral compass, it's like, I'm not doing that. But that comes from my parents, you know, and I think that's, if you focus on the negative, you're going to see a lot of negative. And sometimes on the internet, and negativity speaks louder than positivity. So it's like, especially on the internet, it seems like there's a lot of bad parents out there for sure. But I got to believe that there's still some great parents in the world as well. So again, Another situation, I leave it to the man above, man.
Because if you don't raise your kids, they will. And if you are young yourself, just please, please, please be careful of listening to anybody online who sounds like they've got it all figured out when it comes to love and attraction. Especially if what they figured out happens to soothe your ego or provide you with a false sense of control over how others treat you. Even Wizard Liz, the queen of attraction influencers, just got cheated on by her fiance while she was 4 months pregnant.
Look at that. It's like, it can happen to them too. It can happen to them too. They are, just because they have good advice, and let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they practice what they preach to a T. That doesn't account for the other people in the world. They could still get played just like anybody else.
You will never be able to control how others treat you. All you can control is how you respond and who you allow into your life. I mean, sure, getting jacked and rich and famous will definitely be followed by a round of applause from people who don't really know you. But if you build your personality on top of a defensive worldview, and you do it all at the expense of true growth, you'll end up measuring potential partners against the wrong yardstick anyway.
I told this woman that I loved her within 36 hours of knowing her.
That's a red flag right there, man. And not because, you know, it's easy to fall in love. Like, fall in love is easy. You really could fall in love with somebody in 24 hours on some shit if you allow yourself to. But to just outright say it though, you definitely gotta feel the vibes out a little bit more before you just go and drop that L bomb.
So in summary, the heartbreak industrial complex is not some grand conspiracy. It's not a bunch of super powerful people at the top of some dominant hierarchy spreading lies and misinformation for the sake of profit. It's generally just a product of survivorship bias that makes it so that the least qualified to talk about matters of love and relationships happen to be those who get funneled to the largest stages. Yeah, we have our trusty social media algorithms to thank for that. They're not evil. Don't go jumping in the comments of any of the people you saw at the beginning of this video going, you're a little bastard, you're...
Word, I think he's pretty much ending up the video there, but this was a great video, man. I think it adds a lot of perspective into, you know, this self-improvement influence of self-improvement influencers of the world. Sorry for, I can't speak, right? But anyway, you know, I think people just try to do what's best for them, and sometimes it's not as evil as people make it out to be, because we see the expose videos, we see this influencer is the most and I'm not even gonna act like I'm not guilty of it. I'm a YouTuber. There's an algorithm in place. Sometimes if you title a video a certain way,
or lies.
Oh fuck, you title a video a certain way with a certain type of thumbnail, it's like that's what the algorithm has showed us that you guys are gonna click on. So it's like this weird thing where, again, it just kind of is what it is. But that's me knowing that, though. I'm very like reserved to just hop on the bandwagon and be like, oh, that person's evil. That person deserves to fall off. That the person deserves to lose all their audience because of Again, I don't think life is that black and white. I don't think people are that black and white. If we have 4K, 100% evidence of motherfuckers being evil, then hey, it is what it is. But I'm not gonna get on here and bash strangers on the internet the same way I wouldn't want somebody to get on this motherfucker and bash me, you know? So y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation in the comment section. I'm very curious to hear y'all feedback. I know it's a controversial topic, and depending on what side of the internet lands on, red pill, blue pill, you know, we might see a lot of mixed, you know, point of views. But at the end of the day, love, positivity, we spread that, and just be yourself. Be a human being, bruh. Remember that you ain't perfect, okay? You ain't perfect. Nobody on this earth is perfect. None of the people that you look up to are perfect. None of your favorite actor ain't perfect. So Your favorite influencer ain't perfect. Your favorite singer ain't perfect. God damn it, they're probably terrible people. But hey, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. So just give some people some grace. The same grace that you would like people to give you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you're watching on YouTube, this is the end of the video. If you're still watching on Twitch, we're going to keep it rolling. But if you want to be a part of the Twitch streams, click the link in the description. That's where you at, Berto. And I love y'all. And
Where you at, Berto?